Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms. Miranda Watson.
Here.
All members present, quorum established.
Okay, all right, first item on the agenda is to receive the personnel updates. Ms. Watson.
Good evening. This month we hired a few more people to our staff to fill some of our vacancies. The principal is still interviewing to fill the other vacancies that are still listed. Some of those vacancies are being held by people who are seeking to get their certification, who are eligible to get enrolled in programs. But until they do that, they still have to advertise for those vacancies. And if a certified applicant comes through, then we will fill that position with a certified person. We're advertising in our local journal, which is the Echo. This past month, I ran another ad in the Advocate as well as our local journal. And we updated our vacancies on Teach Louisiana as well as our website also. Any questions?
Okay, great, so we're getting the word out there, 4
Yes.
venues, huh? Okay, wonderful. Any questions, committee?
None.
Okay, no questions, thank you, Ms. Moran. That concludes the personnel committee. Budget and finance will come to order, roll call.
Ms. Virginia Bell.
Present.
Dr. Byron Hurst.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney. Present. Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
Ms. Amy Holland.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, first item is to receive and consider recommendations to reinstate requests for leave time deducted from employees who were affected by the flood.
Okay, we had 35 employees that were affected by the flood.
Excuse me, I was trying to get the microphone so everybody could hear.
We compiled a list of the employees that were affected by the flood. I think there was 4 displaced and 35 altogether. I think the superintendent wanted to request additional.
That was the initial list, but then we were able to whittle that list down by the employees who were truly affected, and we got it down to 16 employees who missed days and also had severe damage to their property.
Did any of them lose someone?
Yes, okay, yes. So what I'm requesting is that we reinstate any leave that they needed to take as a result of missing work because of the flood. And then also would like to provide them with $800 each. We receive, and those monies would be paid through the donations that we receive from various organizations. So we would credit their time that was taken due to the flood and then also give them the $800 donation.
Okay, so, committee, let's go ahead and take item 1 and get a motion on that. Everyone's in agreement with reinstating their time.
I so moved.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Motion by Ms. Cheney, a second by Mr. Hurst. No other questions, Ms. Reed?
Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Dr. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Cheney.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board for vote.
Okay, item 2 is to receive and consider for approval recommendations for action for funding received from various donors. A, employee support due to recent flooding that occurred in August, $800 to each employee who was displaced. Okay, we just discussed that, right?
Yes.
And then the other funds we will repair the gym floor at SHCCA, Chaska, and then purchase school supplies and uniforms for needy students. So you want to take 2, A, B, and C collectively?
We can take, I move that we take items A, B, and C collectively.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Cheney,
Second.
second by Mr. Hurst. No other questions, we'll take a vote, Ms. Reed.
Ms. Bell.
Yes.
Dr. Hurst.
Yes.
Ms. Cheney.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried, refer to the full board.
Okay, item 3 is to receive and consider for approval recommendations to enter into a video production contract with Flying Ghost Productions.
What, committee, as you are aware, we put our videos, our board meeting videos up on our district website for those in the community who are not able to come here live and watch our meetings. That takes a lot of time. So we have our staff that records, and then I take the information, edit the video, and upload it on the district website. That takes a lot of time every month. So I'm requesting that Flying Ghost Productions, and they're videoing us right now for this month. I'm asking that they continue with that service, and then will also provide us with additional videos, promotional videos for the school district. It would be a total of 28 videos for the remainder of the fiscal year.
So move.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hurst.
I didn't tell you what the cost is. The cost is $6,651.45.
Okay, and that's for everything, right?
That's for everything. They would record, they would edit, all of that.
Okay.
In addition to the board videos, they would also do, let's say, 10 additional videos, promotional videos. They're the ones that did the homecoming videos. They also did the video for the Hall of Fame and some other videos as well. So if you like it, if you want to ask a question.
Hi, y'all doing? I'm Christy Davis, and that's Justin Davis, and we're representing Flying Ghost Productions tonight.
Might I add, these are former St. Helena students.
That's right.
Some of my, I had all three of them. The brother's not here, but very proud of them.
I think so.
Okay, good. Mr. Hurst, you want to keep your motion on the table?
Yes, I say. I mean, a motion.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Hurst. Second from Ms. Cheney. No other questions, Ms. Reed will take a vote.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Dr. Hurst?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney? Yes. 3-0. Motion carried, referred to the full board for vote.
Okay, item 4 is to receive and consider for approval month-to-month contract with Comfort Plus, Inc., pending finalization of long-term contract.
I'm in negotiations right now with Taiwan South of Comfort Plus. As you're aware, we put out for bid a maintenance service contract, and we received one bid, and that was from him. So we are working right now to iron out all of the details. So I'm requesting until we are able to have a final version to present to you all that we continue on a month-to-month contract with him.
Also move.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Cheney and a second from Mr. Hurst. No other questions, Ms. Reed will take a vote.
Ms. Bell?
Yes.
Dr. Hurst?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney? Yes. 3-0. Motion carried, referred to the full board for vote.
Okay, that concludes the Budget and Finance Committee.
Policy Committee is called on.
Mr. Alton Travis?
Here.
Ms. Joyce Porter?
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney?
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph?
Present.
All members present.
First item is receive and consider for approval recommendation to officially remove the declaration of a state of emergency for the St. Helena Parish School Board.
The school board approved the declaration of state of emergency when we went through the floods in August, and now that process is over, and we're somewhat back to normal, I'm asking that we now go back to normal and remove the declaration of state of emergency.
I so move. I second it. Remove. Porter?
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Been moved by Ms. Porter, second by Ms. Cheney. Is there any further discussion? Vote?
Mr. Travis?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney? Yes. 3 yeas, motion carried, referred to the full board for vote.
Second item of business, discuss the St. Helena Parish School Board Code of Conduct Handbook.
Yes, I'm going to request that we table this item until next month.
I so move that we take this item. I second.
It's been moved by Ms. Cheney and second by Ms. Porter that we table this item. Any further discussion? Vote?
Mr. Travis?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney? Yes. 3-0, motion carried, referred to the full board.
That concludes the policy committee.
Building and Ground Committee, we come to order. Roll call. Ms. Linda Cheney? Present. Ms. Joyce Porter? Present. Ms. Barbara Whitley? Present. Dr. Kelly Joseph? Here. All members present.
Item 1, receive and consider for approval
agreement of use of land and building between St. Helena Parish School Board and Charlotte Cornish, representing the St. Helena Lit League, to use the St. Helena College and Career Academy auditorium and cafeteria on November 20th, 2016.
We received documentation, and it will be for their annual banquet, and once again, will be at no charge.
That's a win.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Porter, second by Ms. Whitley. Any questions? No questions? Vote?
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
3-0, motion carried. Refer to the full board for vote.
Item 2, receive and consider for approval agreement on use of land and building between St. Helena Parish School Board and Reverend Ellis Kelly Jr., representing Great Nation Prayer Ministry, to use St. Helena College and Career Academy auditorium on January 1st, 2017.
We received paperwork from this organization. They are wanting to do a gospel concert here in the auditorium on January 1st. We would charge them $75 per hour for 6 hours.
Something else on here too, Dr. Joseph. It says they're gonna be serving food in here too? I saw that on here.
I think he had,
Will food items be sold?
not that kind of food, not prepared food. He said they may have chips or whatever, and I had him talk to Mr. Douglas first to get permission. Mr. Douglas told him they could, as long as they didn't come inside the auditorium. That if they sold anything, it would have to be out there, and it would only be like chips and something. But they're not to eat inside the auditorium. And
Okay,
no
with
prepared
that,
food.
with that being said, I'll make it.
Question is, someone gonna be here like on duty from the school that they monitor that?
Yes, he has, he's secured someone already.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, with that being said, I'll make the motion.
I second.
Motion by Ms. Porter, second by Ms. Whitley. Any questions? No questions? Vote?
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
3-0, motion carried. Refer to the full board.
That concludes the Building and Ground Committee.
Education Committee will come to order. Roll call.
Dr. Byron Hurst.
Present.
Ms. Virginia Bell.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney.
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph. Yes. Dr. Candace Robertson.
Here.
Dr. Sonia Gutierrez.
Present.
And Dr. Jennifer Briggs. All members present. Quorum established.
Item 1, receive October 1 MFP student count report.
Good evening, I'm Glenda Jackson, sixth coordinator, and I will be giving you your October 1, 2016 MFP count. This year the count ended as of 9/30/2016. The high school reported 524, Charlotte/ELC 646. We have one at central office, giving us an MLP count of 1171. Plus, we add our pre-K, which is 61, give us a total enrollment of 1232 for 2016 so far. Comparison report from 10/1/2015. Charlotte for 2015, October 1 was 457. Sharp, no, that's St. Helena College and Career, was 457. Charlotte and ELC was 640. Give them a total for MFP of last year of 1,101, plus the 64 pre-K, giving us a total enrollment for 10/1/2015 of 1,165 students. As of today, our count is for St. Helena College and Career, 523, Charlotte, 334, she said 335, it's 334. St. Helena Early Learning Center, 369, give us a total for today of 1,226. And I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize my secretary, Ms. Trish Clark, Ms. Angela Chandler, and Ms. Stephanie Jackson absent. Without these ladies, all these numbers would not come together and crunch right for this data. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2, receive fall benchmark assessment results.
Good evening, everyone. This school year, our students will take 4 benchmark assessments. The most recent was in September. They will test again in November 14th, January 20th, and then again the week of March 23rd. So these are the first results. And I have them in order from 3rd grade through 11th grade, and those are the tested grades for LEAP and EOC. And so you have your 3rd grade ELA at 100%, scoring around unsatisfactory. Now, I do want to say that, again, this is early September, this is 2 weeks after coming back from the flood. These scores are also very normal early in the school year. And so we will look at the progress throughout the school year. All right. 3rd grade math, we have one group with 76% unsat, 11% approaching basic, and 13% basic. The other group, 15% basic, 22% approaching basic, and 63% unsat. 4th grade ELA, 93% unsatisfactory, 7% approaching basic. Fourth grade science, 83% unsat, 10% approaching basic, 6% basic, and 1% mastery. Fifth grade ELA, 65% unsat, 18% approaching basic, 15% students scored basic, and 2% scored mastery. 98% scored in math, 98% scored unsatisfactory, and 2% were at approaching basic. In 5th grade science, 92% scored at unsatisfactory, 6% at approaching basic, and 2% at basic. 6th grade ELA, 16% of the students scored at unsatisfactory, 34% at approaching basic, 27% at basic, 21% at mastery, and 2% at advanced. 6th grade math, 88% at unsatisfactory, 12% at approaching basic. 6th grade science, 94% at unsatisfactory, and 6% at approaching basic. Social studies scores were delayed due to the delay of getting into EAGLE, which we are now in, and you'll have those school reports November when we retest. These are from the high school. 7th grade ELA, 100% at unsatisfactory. 7th grade math, 100% at unsatisfactory. 7th grade science, 31% at unsatisfactory, 50% at approaching basic, 17% at basic, and 2% at mastery. In 8th grade, the students take English 1. We have 23% scoring at unsatisfactory, 30% at approaching basic, 28% at basic, and 18% at mastery, 1% at advanced. Algebra 1 in 8th grade, 99% at unsatisfactory or needs improvement because they're going to take the EOC, and 1% at approaching basic or fair. This Algebra 1 9th grade, 100% at needs improvement. Geometry, 100% at needs improvement. English 2, the same. And biology, 97% at needs improvement, 1.5 at fair. And so what we have in place to address that is that once they have this data from these benchmarks, they meet and analyze student strengths and weaknesses, and every teacher produces an instructional plan that is approved by the principal in order to move the students. And so they focus both on the quantitative piece, the numbers, but also the qualitative. So who are the students and what are their weaknesses? And how we tackle that with bringing in the parents, the other document you have in your folder is the standards-based report. This goes home with every child. for the classes that they're in. So this is from an actual student, but I blacked out the name and the teacher's name for privacy reasons. But it'll give the parents a list of the courses that that child is in, the standards that that child has been assessed in, and then how that student falls. And if you can see in the top right corner of the document, this particular student in the standards assessed, where it was 68% in mastery of the standards he or she was assessed on, 14% near mastery, and then it gives 18% of remediation. And so it's color coded, not in this copy, but it is color coded to help parents fully understand what specific standards their children need help, additional help in at home. And then it also helps the teacher to plan how I'm going to reteach and address those students. So we're looking forward to the next group of benchmarks to see how our kids progress. Any questions? That's it.
This concludes the education committee.
Athletic Committee is called to order.
Mr. Alton Travis.
Here.
Ms. Joyce Porter.
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney.
Present.
Dr. Kelly Joseph.
Here.
All members present.
Discuss having a yearly St. Helena Parish School District Hall of Fame program. A, recognize local athletes in all sports that had a major accomplishment in their career. B, Athletics Committee would approve criteria for entry in the Hall of Fame.
As you all know, committee, and this is the first time we've gathered this committee, I know since I've been superintendent. We had our first Hall of Fame program during the homecoming, and I think that it was very well attended, and it was a nice event where we recognized local athletes in the area who did, who moved forward beyond the college and went into or had the opportunity to go into the professional league. And so we want to make this a yearly event, but also set criteria to accept people into the Hall of Fame. So I wanted to galvanize this committee and get this committee to approve criteria for the entry into the Hall of Fame.
Can I get a motion?
I so moved.
I second.
Been moved by Ms. Cheney, second by Ms. Porter, that we recognize these athletes and start a Hall of Fame. Is there any further discussion? Vote?
Mr. Alton Travis.
Yes.
Ms. Porter.
Yes.
Ms. Cheney. Yes. 3-0, motion carried. Refer to the full board.
That concludes our committee meeting. Moving right along. Ma'am, ask Reverend Donald to lead us in prayer.
Our God, this afternoon, the 10th day of October 2016. Our God, we thank you for bringing us together again and another month school board meeting.
Yes.
Thank you for our superintendent, wonderful board, my God. Oh, you're so great and you're so good.
Yes.
As them as they work together, trying to improve the atmosphere of this parish, my God, the school system. Lord, we thank and praise your name. Your name and glory. Thank God. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call a meeting of the St. Helena Parish School Board. Roll call.
Ms. Joyce Porter,
Present.
Dr. Byron Hurst,
Present.
Ms. Linda Cheney,
Present.
Ms. Barbara Whitley,
Present.
Ms. Virginia Bell,
Present.
Mr. Alvin Travis.
Present.
All members present.
Item C, approve minutes. Committee meeting, September 8, 2016. Regular board meeting, September 8, 2016.
A motion that we receive and approve the minutes from the meetings.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Bell, second by Dr. Byron Hurst, to approve the minutes. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Dr. Hurst,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Ms. Whitley,
Yes.
Ms. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Travis.
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item D, approve current agenda.
I move we approve the current agenda.
I second.
Motion by Mr. Travis, second by Ms. Porter, to approve the current agenda. Any questions? No questions? Vote.
Ms. Porter,
Yes.
Dr. Hurst,
Yes.
Ms. Cheney,
Yes.
Ms. Whitley,
Yes.
Ms. Bell,
Yes.
Mr. Travis.
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item E, superintendent's report.
Good evening, community, and good evening, board. I have a couple of items that I'd like to share with you this evening. The first is the update on the FEMA and insurance claim. As you all know, we did suffer damage because of the storm, and just wanted to give you a quick update as to where we are with that. First is, we had a facilities assessment meeting that was held on September 23rd with the insurance representatives, and they went in and did a thorough inspection of all of our facilities, and we are waiting on the determination of their findings from the insurance company. What we do get out of that is a nice report that we can present to FEMA. So the next thing is FEMA. We met on the 28th. Following that assessment, we had our kickoff meeting. And so once we receive the report from the insurance representatives, then we'll be able to submit that to FEMA. And then they will make a determination as to what the insurance will cover and what FEMA will cover, and then we can move forward with our progress on work for the facilities. Any questions about that?
Besides the gym floor, is there any other major damage?
There are other damages, and it'll be fully listed in that report along with pictures to attach to it. So once I receive that report, then I'll present it to the board. The next thing is St. Helena Arts and Technology Academy Facilities Project. We are still moving forward with the USDA. As you all know, it takes a long time. It's a long process. It's a tedious process with working with USDA. So there is still no firm date as far as our groundbreaking ceremony, but I want everyone to know that we are moving forward with that project. And I wanted to share this drawing with you. This is the rendering, most recent rendering. I received this today, as a matter of fact. And this is how the front of the school will look. So we'll have a nice entryway. We'll have a media center that will be off to your right, and office spaces off to your left. And then the second picture shows the entrance from the back of the building. So we'll have that nice courtyard space that we talked about, and then also new entrances on either side of the campus. That red building, we said, would be demolished, and we'll have a nice courtyard area. So this is the rendering for the St. Helena Arts and Technology Academy. The next thing I'd like to share with you is the total donations that we received from all of the donors after the flood. I have a copy of this. We received a total monetary donation of $64,770.45. And I have a list of all of the people who donated. We received also school supply donations of a total of 13 pallets and over 20 boxes of school supplies. With the clothing donations that we received for the community, not just for our students, but for anyone in the community who also lost. We received 2 full truckloads, those box truckloads of clothing, and also an additional 30 boxes and bags of clothing. So starting on Monday, we're going to do a thank you tour. We're going to Orleans Parish School Board meeting on Tuesday, and we're also going to schedule to go to St. Tammany and some other places. We're also going to make a thank you video so we can package that and send that off to all of the other donors. So people really did step up to support St. Helena, and we're very proud of that. I wanted to go over some of the expenditures that we've had already. We had to, of course, clean the gym. That was a cost of $5,000. We had to repair some items at the central office. That was a total of $6,000. We also had to rent a Bobcat because there was some issues with the grounds, and we had to shore those things up. That was a total of $2,000. And the cost to repair the gym floor would be $8,000. So the total expenditures is $21,000, which leaves us with a balance of $43,770.45. And going before the board for approval is the amount of $800 for all of the employees who were affected by the flood. So that will further reduce that amount by about $12,000, I believe. The balance of those monies will be used to purchase items and supplies that we need for our students. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. Any questions about that? The next item that I'd like to discuss with you is ESSA Accountability Framework. The accountability system, as you know, has changed every single year since 2012. Can you take that? And it's going to change again next year. The NCLB has been replaced by ESSA, and the purpose of it is to focus on the needs of historically disadvantaged students, students from low-income homes, and students with English language barriers, and students with disabilities. So the state, our state, each state has got to come up with a plan of action to address these new requirements from the federal government. So if I can turn your attention to page 14 and 15 of the handout. This is the framework that comes from the State Department, and it is extremely wordy, and it's lengthy. And as a member of the Accountability Commission and also the Superintendent's Advisory Council, I'm charged with having to read through this and offer any ideas, advice, or any kind of pushback from this framework. And so what I had to do was take the whole thing, I literally cut up the framework and put it in individual folders so I can just decipher exactly what it is they're wanting to make changes to the accountability system. The two things that I want to share with the community right now is, the first thing is changing the way the accountability or the way our schools are going to be judged. Right now, for elementary schools, 100% of the accountability or the judging of the schools is through assessments. For the elementary and middle schools, and you can see on the projector, it is 95% assessment and 5% the dropout credit accumulation index. That means that a student who finishes 9th grade with at least 5 credits will receive points, and it goes back to that middle school or the combination school wherever that 8th grade is located. And you see at the high school is divided up by 25% EOC, ACT, the strength of the diploma, and the cohort graduation rate. Starting next year, they want to change up the way this is developed. So they want 70% to be about assessment, 25% to be a progress index, meaning they will finally give credit to schools and districts who are showing progress. with their students. And they're, instead of taking it and having it outside, the progress points have it outside of the school performance calculator, they're placing it on the inside of it, if that makes sense. So they're going to recognize the progress that's made for schools. So that's 25%. And then 5%, a leading indicator. This is something that is a non-tested indicator. So they're going to look at various things that schools are doing that's not tested that shows that we're making progress with our students. Some of the items that they're talking about is how much nutritional information and meals are we preparing for our students? How many art programs do we have? How many foreign language programs do we have? So they're looking at those non-tested indicators. For the elementary and middle schools, they want 65% toward assessment index, 25% toward the progress, another 5% for DCAI, and the 5% for leading indicators. And the high school, everything would remain the same except the progress. The progress, of course, is 20. They have progress index and EOC and ACT as 25%. ACT is still 25%. You have the cohort graduation rate and the leading indicator of 5%. That's the changes that they are proposing for next school year. So grades and how schools are judged will be changing once again. With that, if you look at the next page on page 15, I stated before that they've changed. Mastery is now the new basic. So for 3rd through 8th grade assessments, the current benchmark is basic, but they're moving to mastery. And this has to be done, it will be done by the year 2025. The DCAI points, where students have to have the 5 Carnegie units when they finish 9th grade, now they are making it more specific and saying that those 5 credits have to be TOPS aligned. And of course, it's changing. They're not doing the excellent, good, fair, needs improvement. They're changing it to the advanced, mastery, basic, approaching basic, and unsatisfactory categories, where mastery on the EOCs will be the new good. For ACT, the current benchmark is 18. They're changing it to 21. And the strength of the diploma, you can't just get a 4-year high school diploma. You have to have things attached, which would include Jumpstart credentials, AP credit, dual enrollment credit, or any type of IB credit. And lastly, the cohort graduation rate, they're changing it from the benchmark of 75% to 90%. So I will continue to explain all of the things that's going on, but right now, we're in a position where we've got to just look through the framework and provide some feedback to the state with regard to how we feel about these particular things. It's a lot. It's a whole lot of information. It's a whole lot of information that we have to really just take and put into pieces where we can fully understand it. Because if there is no pushback, then the state will assume that everything is okay and they'll roll forward with it, and then we'll find ourselves in the situation that we're in today with how this accountability system really does not showcase how well students are progressing.
Well, how do other superintendents feel about that? I know that you, naturally being the St. Helena superintendent, would think that that's what it's going to be. What about the others? You're on that board, right?
I am. The first group of superintendents that I conversed with, they all said that they hadn't had the opportunity to look at the framework. When you look at it, just in its sheer state, it's just a lot. And so they just really don't have time to sit and look through it all. But I understand the importance of it, and so I'm absolutely going through it, and we'll have a lot to talk about when we go to our meeting next week. And so it's another situation where we'll have to try to explain these changes to the community so that they can understand, once again, things have changed with their students. So we'll be having further discussion. The last thing that I have, as you all know, we play the Kentwood Kangaroos on tomorrow. I want to stress the importance that all of our fans please maintain friendly behaviors. I know a lot of talk has been going on social media. They're saying all kind of things back and forth, and all of those things are good, you know, when it's all in fun. But we want to always remember that the kids that are on the field are student athletes. They're 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. And we want them to just enjoy the experience of playing the game. And this is not a district game for St. Helena. We are like, I guess we would say, it's a non-district game, so it's not going to hurt or hinder us one way or the other. Our kids are focused on trying to make it to the Dome this year. And I feel like they have a strong opportunity to make it there. So I want to remind the fans and that, you know, of course, there's no liquor or tobacco products on campus. It's not allowed on the school grounds. And we just want both of our communities to have fun and just make sure that it's a safe, fun place for our kids. And we always have to remember our kids are watching us. And we just need to make sure that as adults, we do what's in the best interest of kids. So, and we're looking forward to beating the Kangaroos on tomorrow. And that concludes my report.
Okay, item F, approved committee reports.
Also move we can approve them collectively.
I second.
Motion by Dr. Byron Hurst to approve all committee reports collectively, second by Ms. Porter. Any questions? No questions? Vote?
Ms. Porter?
Yes.
Dr. Hurst?
Yes.
Ms. Cheney?
Yes.
Ms. Whitley?
Yes.
Ms. Bell? Mr. Travis?
Yes.
6-0, motion carried.
Item G, consider request to address school board from Mr. Jeffrey Jackson. Before Mr. Jackson come up, just want to remind you that it's a 2-minute time. Mr. Travis, please keep the time.
I'll be quick. Good evening. First off, I'd like to congratulate the superintendent for a job well done on homecoming, for the football field. However, that's not why I'm here. However, this school is failed. And we need to do something about it. And I wrote you guys an email. I know you guys read it because I got your return receipt that said you had read it. Mr. McPherson?
Yes. Can't call a name.
Okay. The administrator has no experience to be the administrator. As a person,
You still going at an individual. You can't allow that, Mr. Jackson.
well, let's go here. School performance scores, 2009, 77.3. And you heard the superintendent say the elementary school performance scores are strictly on academics. 2009, 77.3. 2010, 64.3. This is the elementary school, not the high school. 2011, 57.3. 2012, 69.7. 2013, 40.5. 2014, 45.3. 2015, 39.9. That's totally unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. So I don't know what we're doing, how we're doing it, but it has to be a change. And I've written you guys emails, you guys never responded. So we devised a committee, and that committee has agreed to do a recall on 2 school board members. Right here in my hand, I have a petition signed by the Attorney General for recalls from Ms. Virginia Bell
Well,
and Ms.
we are
Linda
aware
Cheney.
of that, Mr. Jackson. Once again, you cannot, this is an open meeting to the public. You cannot call names. We are aware of what's done. That's all that needs to be said.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess to the board then, what are we gonna do to fix this school problem?
Mr. Jackson, we hear your concern, and we will look into this matter.
You will look into it?
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, and the other question is, why is there a principal at the elementary school or the Early Learning Center?
Excuse me?
Why isn't there a principal at the elementary school or the Early Learning Center?
There's an administrator there.
Principal.
I know the difference.
Yes.
I totally understand.
Mhm. So
Okay.
the question is, why isn't there a principal, a certified principal at the elementary school and the middle, or at Early Learning Center and elementary school?
I hear your concern.
You still haven't answered my question.
And that's not my job to do by myself. We will discuss this as a board.
Okay, so the board can address it. It's not a point, Mr. Travis.
Your time is up.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're here for me.
Item G, consider request to address school board. Item H, next meeting date. Committee meetings, November the 10th, 2016 at 5:45 p.m. Regular board meeting, November the 10th, 2016 at 6 o'clock p.m. St. Helena College and Career Academy Auditorium, 14340 Highway 37, Greensboro, Louisiana, 70441. Closing comments. Board members? I would just like to say that I truly enjoyed the homecoming activities. I think a lot of people was able to come back to the community and see some of the work that has been done in our system. So I would just like to congratulate you, Dr. Joseph, on a job well done.
Well, my comment would be that I would like to see more positive responses to all the work that is going on here and all the achievement that the school systems and people involved are having and what they're making. And I would also like to see more appreciation for the efforts that are being put forth. Naturally, everything is not going to be a success. It's going to be problems. But from where we started, I think there's been much progress. But if your whole agenda is all about negative and what is wrong, then that's what you're going to see. And I just want to say that I think that the school system, the board members, and I am proud to be associated with them, I think they are making every effort to do what is right for the school system. And those who disagree, you have every right to do that. But you have no right to disparage anyone's character and suggesting that he or she is not doing her job, and you have to have a reason. So if you're going to disparage someone's character, then you make sure you have a reason, because those are serious charges. So you make sure you're ready to back that up. Thank you.
With that being said, Ms. Bell, since Mr. McPherson is here and Ms. Jackson is here from the Early Learning Center, I just want to give them the opportunity to have a word, if we would. Mr. McPherson, Ms. Jackson.
Hello, everyone. It is a great day to be at home.
I would just like to say it is a pleasure and it is a privilege to work with the students of the Early Learning Center. I'm excited about this year. We're going to accomplish a lot this year, and I'm excited about that. And like I said before, I have an open door policy. Anything you want to know, you're welcome to come by and see me anytime. You can call me, you have my number. I can stay over for a little while tonight. You can address me at that time. But whatever I do, I always put God first. Amen. And I put the children second. I will not do anything to hurt your child, mistreat your child. I will only do the best. So, if you want something to say it to me after the meeting. I'll be right there in the back. But I will not allow anyone to, how would I say it? Tell me I'm not for the kids. You will not tell me that. I will not take that.
I'm always about the kids of St. Helena. They're in my heart, and I will always feel that way. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I would just like to agree with Ms. Jackson. I am for the children. This is my 4th year in the parish. I've served as a music teacher. Though it was the subject of music, I am a certified teacher, so the same courses that the history teachers and all the other subjects had to take, I did take them, along with my praxis and all of that. But besides the point, I'm for the students. I don't have any time for any other thing or any other people that are going to try to make a name for themselves or establish a platform at the expense of our students. Like Ms. Jackson said, I have an open door policy. I will not stay after to address any concerns after this meeting. My email address is bmcpherson@sthpk-12.net. You can come anytime. I just wish that we as people, we as a community, we as parents have the intellect before we post false information to research and ask and have the courtesy or just be man enough or woman enough to address the concerns head on. Our students don't have any time to waste, and we as leaders of the school don't either. So once again, I'd like to thank you, members of the school board, for all that you do in meeting the needs of the faculty, staff, and students of St. Helena Parish School District. God bless you.
My heart is hurt, it's heavy, but I will pray. When I came on board, I said that God revealed to me, eyes have not seen, nor the ears heard what God has in store for us at St. Helena. But if we do stuff like this, He's gonna get back. But I'm gonna stay praying to God. It will happen. It will. We need to stay positive, work together, love one another, encourage one another. If our child, my son is back there, he's watching us. The children are watching us. They don't need to see this. So we need to pray real hard, y'all. We need to pray. Pray until something happens. I see some positive stuff. Our football team tomorrow got a game against Kentwood. Independence, we never won against Independence. They meet Kentwood. That's something positive. Look at the football field. The grade level, it will. I'm a firm believer, it will come up. But it starts at home, and I'm guilty too. We got to work with our children at home, pray with them, and believe. We got to believe that God will. He will do it for us, but like if we do stuff like this, but like I say, I will stay positive. I will pray and ask God to continue doing what He's doing.
I want to say something. Mr. Jackson, we did see your email, and I want to tell you this. We see some bizarre stuff, and we look at each and every thing, any complaint, the smallest complaint to the largest. Yes, we read your email, and this board, this school system's not perfect, but it's not because this board's not trying to make it that way. And these people that I'm working with right now, they are trying. They're for the children more than any board that I've ever been on. Except you, Mr. Goldman, you're pretty good. So, anyways, that's all I've got to say.
Any more comments? The last one.
I'd like to say something.
Okay.
I was going to remain quiet, but I'm going to say this. The people that work with the kids in this parish every day work hard. They work hard. Since 2012, the accountability system in this state has changed every single year. The test has changed, how the schools are judged have changed every single year. St. Helena, being a small rural school district, is one of the schools that have issues. The accountability system is not for a small area like this. It's not. And so we as a board and all of the people who work in education understand and know what the fight truly is. The fight isn't here. The fight is at the state level. The fight is there. We need to do things that will help truly show the growth that's being made in the school system. That is why I'm a member of the Accountability Commission. That is why we sit at the table at the Superintendent's Advisory Council, so that small rural school districts' voice can be heard. And St. Helena has never been at the table, but St. Helena is at the table now. And we are fighting to make sure that our voice is heard. In 2012, St. Helena was the most improved school district in the state. That was when the accountability system was one way up from the start up until 2012. In 2013, it changed. The grading scale changed. So that's why you saw a dip to 40, whatever, right. Because the grading scale shrunk. And that year, every single district in the state of Louisiana dropped. But we didn't drop as far as Zachary and all of the other top school districts. You can't just look at and say, because you're labeled an A, that is the complete total picture of a school system, because it's not. There are other things, there are other factors at play that get us to where we are. We are growing faster than the top-rated schools in this state. And there's the documentation to prove it. If you don't believe what I'm saying, then go to the State Department website and you will see for yourself. We are growing. Our students are flourishing. We are not a perfect school system, but neither is any other school system in the state or in the nation for that matter. But what I can tell you is that every single day when we come to work, we put our best foot forward for our kids. And if you are not willing to do that for our kids, well then you don't belong in the school system. We need our parents to work with us. There's so much that we all can do. There's so much that we can do in a short amount of time that we have our students. So what we need community support. Amen. I need for you all to come and say, what is it that we can do to help? Do you need for us to tutor the kids? Do you need for us to come in and, what do you need? Mr. Jackson, you never once came to my office to ask, what can I do to help? Not one time. But I will tell you this, I will never put adults and the adult issues in front of what children need. I will never do that. My focus will always be about them. And the adults who are upset, they're probably upset because something happened to them personally, where we had to make tough decisions at the very beginning, because this district, when I came in, had a $1.5 million deficit. And so when you have to deal with that type of issue, you have to make cuts and you have to make tough decisions. But my decisions were never going to impact what students needed in the classroom and what teachers needed in the classroom. That is the focus. So we could do a lot of stuff, but the one thing that's very difficult is when we don't have the support of the community, when they don't come in and say, what can we do to help? And that's what we need. What can we do to help? So I also have an open door policy. So if anybody wants to come in and want to talk to me about how you can help move this district forward, I'll stand and I'll wait. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I got one more. I recognize somebody in the audience that has been around for a long time. He's been out of St. Helena, I guess, and he's been here from way back fighting battles, and I'd like to recognize him. He's been fighting battles for the students. Bishop James.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm sure everybody. Let me say this to President Scales, to the board, superintendent, ladies and gentlemen of the audience. I salute everything that I've heard up on the stage. But I must say this. There is no other, and all of you may not know this, there is no other school system that I know of in the state of Louisiana that can top St. Helena Parish. Matter of fact, every school system that I know of in St. Helena is having problems with superintendents, with problems, period. This is a great system. When Dr. William and I drove up, for the first time, I just decided to ride around. You know, I'm a big man. It takes a lot to make me cry. But I see a miracle. This is a miracle. Do you not know, Mr. Travis knows this, several years ago, we brought in the national president of the SCLC out of Georgia. At the school board office under the previous superintendent, we got on the phone with the national director of the Department of Education. And they were asking for money, help to fix these schools up so the kids could have a decent place to learn. They was going to class, and you know this, no air conditioning. Matter of fact, the school was so filthy, on a cold day, our dog wouldn't even enter the grounds. We talked to Paul Pastorak, who was the state superintendent at that time. Matter of fact, it was Men of Vision that took him to federal court and won. We brought in the national director of the United States Civil Rights Division, and we won. And we predicted that he wouldn't last 90 days. After he left court, 45 days after that, he resigned, Attorney Paul Pastorak. The superintendent said something that's very true. The scales that State Superintendent John White, and we've been in conversation with him, is unfair scale. See, the battle is not with this board. The battle is with State Superintendent John White. Okay? We filed a suit against him in 2013. And instead of him complying to the order of the court, he decided to pay a fine to keep from giving us what we asked. His days are numbered. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. We have a powerful board. We have a powerful superintendent. I'm telling you, I travel this country, one of the best I've seen. Not because of the fact they're perfect. If they're perfect, run from it. That means they're Jesus Christ.
2 minutes up.
Now, thank you, Ms. Jackson.
There's
Now,
2 minutes up.
Right. Now, let me also say this, that I sat and I listened, and then I take my seat, Mr. Jackson. I heard, I just learned his name looking on the schedule, Mr. Jackson, stand at that podium, Madam President, and make some legitimate concern. I mean, some legitimate, concerns that deserve some legitimate answers. Now, when a parent or someone come to you, you owe them the courtesy. He didn't get that tonight. You owe him the courtesy and you owe him the respect to respond. He's on the agenda. And you owe him that courtesy and the respect to do that. I'm for the children. I ain't for the board. I ain't for the teachers. I'm for the children. Over 20 years, I've done that. Now, at some point or another, the board need to consider addressing Mr. Jackson's concern. I don't think that he meant any harm, and I don't think your response to him meant any harm, but I just think that it could be done just a little better. Mr. Travis, thank you so much for recognizing me. My 2 minutes is up.
Ms. Chan, I have to say something. Mr. Reverend James said he's a big person that he would cry. I'm a small person, and right now my heart is hurt also. Because my thing is this, it's all about the children. We have to look at our children, what's best for our children. And we here as a board, that is our main focus, is what's best for the children.
Right.
And my thing is this, Ms. Jackson and Mr. McPherson would not be in the position that they're in if the superintendent didn't think that they can do the job.
Right.
I applaud you, Ms. Jackson, and I applaud you, Mr. McPherson, for the job that you're doing.
And I applaud Mr. Jackson for addressing the board.
Doing what's best for our children.
That's right.
And thank you.
I agree.
And let me add
And
this
thank
too.
you.
Let me add this. It is not the board decision to hire or fire anyone. That's the superintendent's decision.
Demand that certified people already hired. You can't tell the superintendent who to hire and fire, but you can demand that she hire a certified principal, certified teachers for those classrooms.
And the people that she's put in place, then.
They're not certified. That's
Guess
my
what?
concern. They're not
Obviously, she
certified.
sees that they are best fit for the job.
No.
Okay, Mr. Hurst,
Yeah.
you say you had something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Madam President, I agree with you 100%. You know, look, all I'm saying is this, is we don't want to discourage a parent, and I don't think nobody ought to attack anybody, just like you were saying. I don't think nobody, this don't even, shouldn't even be to the point where we want to recall anybody, you know, for what? I don't think that. What I do say, and that is this, that every person deserves respect, that's all. You guys have done a wonderful job. This is my first time coming this way since you've been board members. Listen, you are the greatest. You're the greatest, you know, and I really thank God for you. But we shouldn't put down on this guy and paint him as an elephant in the house because he has a concern. That's all I'm saying. Amen. All right, thank you.
Being an administrator, working in the central office in Tangipahoa Parish, working here, I just want to say that being an administrator is very, very tough. 2008, I had to go sit down at the State Department. Young, fresh out the classroom, a couple years experience as an administrator, principal of the middle school. I had to go sit down at the State Department in front of John, what his name? Pastory, and tell him my plan of making sure the middle school wasn't going to be taken over. Little did I know, they had already made the decision to take it over. It was just a formality for me to go down there to try to explain my goals and what I was going to do. And we had some small progress, and I was fortunate to work with Ms. Jackson. And she was one of my best teachers. She was the master teacher. And she can tell you right now, I asked her 10 times to do what? Come into administration. But she said she didn't want to do it at the time. And I had that much respect for her as a young administrator to ask her to come and help me. I'm in Mr. McPherson. I was in Mr. McPherson's shoes. And Mr. McPherson, I wish you the best. And it's a tough job, especially being young. And I know because I was there, I've done that. Also, I like to say, we were the laughing stock when I went down there. It was just like I said, it was a formality for us to go through that process. And to go from a laughing stock in the State Department, and I must give kudos where they are due, to having a superintendent who's on the superintendent's board, or the secretary for superintendents, correct? Superintendent Association, to being on a committee with Bessie, and to having a seat at the table with the State Department, tells me that St. Helena is going to have a voice at the table with those three entities. And me and Dr. Joseph, and we don't always agree, but we talk behind closed doors. We talk on the phone. You know, I tell her my opinion, and she tell me hers, and we move forward. I call Ms. Channing, I tell her my opinion, she tell me hers, and we move forward. And that's the way it is. So everything ain't perfect behind closed doors. But I do understand when we come before the community, you know, we have to act as one because the people expect us, and some of you will understand that, expect us not to get along.
And that's why I didn't answer Mr. Jackson's question, because it's a board, not me. And I don't want anybody in the public to say, Ms. Cheney said it. It's a board, it's us. Sorry. That last motion.
I so moved.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Jones.